Welcome to Acton in Focus. I'm Vivian Kopsinger-Birchall, your host, and with me, as usual, is the beloved Bettina Abe, a resident of Acton, but who a former employee also of the town of Acton Natural Resources, and has a wealth of knowledge about our Acton land, conservation lands and ponds and everything. Bettina, welcome.
Good morning, Vivian.
Good morning. It's a chilly morning, but it's very important for us to be out here because of some of the news that I have seen out on social media, people falling in ponds. And today's conversation, or what Bettina is going to tell us, is about how to be safe in ponds on icy days and snowy days, because your safety is important to all of us. So Bettina, I don't even know where to start. What are some of the incidences you've heard with people having accidents on these ponds?
Yeah, it seems every winter that you hear stories in greater Boston or Massachusetts. So it definitely happens, and people make mistakes in their judgment. So I think talking about this little pond here at Great Hill Conservation Land is a great learning experience.
And for the purpose of those who don't know where this is, can you describe the location?
Yes, Great Hill Conservation Land is, it's very large. It's several hundred acres. It's sort of in South Acton, sort of between Roach Brothers on Mass Ave and School Street. It's behind the South Acton Fire Station.
So what should people be looking at, or what can you tell us about these ponds, especially in the winter?
Exactly. So if you are considering playing on any ice, the most important thing is that you need to know that water body. You need to be very well acquainted with it. There's under no circumstances should children ever go out on ice alone. And pretty much I would say you should assume all ice is dangerous. Just assume that and stay off of it. And you really need local knowledge, somebody who has been coming to that pond for years and years. And it's important to know how deep it is. Because if it's only 2 or 3 feet deep and you do fall through, it's not that hard to get out. But a deep pond is a much different story.
And then some of the most common accidents that I have read about are people going after their pets. Can you say something about that?
Yes, absolutely. Most common sense thing is if you have a dog and you know you're going to a frozen water body, keep your dog on a leash. Even the little brooks that we have, and we have a lot of brooks in Acton that crisscross the trails. And the problem with bodies of water, natural bodies of water instead of a man-made ice rink, is you don't know how that body of water has frozen. They freeze unevenly, and if there's current and it's moving, it's going to be even thinner because it's harder for the ice to form on a moving current.
And what should people really look out for? Because I imagine some of the ponds are not this big. Some of them might be hidden. How can people be safe while walking out in the woods, especially in the winter?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Like I said, always assume the ice is not safe. And if you do decide that you want to recreate on a pond, make sure that you're somewhere very safe and everybody knows where you are, and you're never going onto a pond or a frozen body of water alone. And this is a great spot because it's right behind the South Acton Fire Station. And there are some other ponds in Acton that people skate on, but the town of Acton and the fire and the police department will always tell you to keep off the ponds because they can't guarantee that they're safe. And we've had a boat overturn at Nara.
I heard about that one.
Yeah, like a number of weeks ago, a month or so ago, and the ice was thin, and you just can't survive very long in frozen water like that. So I can tell you about this little pond at Great Hill, and I've been skating here for almost 30 years. I know the body of water very well. I know where it freezes last. I know all the thin spots. I have this pond memorized. I know how deep it is. I know where water flows in and water flows out. And the most important thing is you have to know how thick the ice is. And you can go on websites that like Mass Wildlife, because a lot of people who hunt or fish, they will ice fish and they will cut a hole in the ice and measure the thickness of the ice. So websites will tell you how thick the ice has to be to hold a certain amount of weight.
Right. And then for a town like Acton that has a high turnover of residents, they come and go, where can a very new resident who doesn't know much about the pond or even the weather get all this information?
I would start with calling the Conservation Division and speaking with Ian Bergman. He can tell you about the different ponds on the conservation lands, but really, these are not safe. These are not play areas where people should go. They should look at them and marvel at their beauty, but if they really want to ice skate, they should go to an ice rink. And there's a wonderful one in Boxborough, 5 to 10 minute drive out Mass Ave, and that's really the safest thing.
How many ponds do we have in Acton?
Oh my goodness, there are a lot. Okay. And that's probably listed in the open space and recreation plan, but there must be, at least 30 ponds. And some of them are extremely large. And you will see here, people have cleared this pond and they've been playing. You can see the black ice and an old hockey net. So people have been skating here and playing here. And you have to know, how many days or weeks has the temperature been below freezing, way below freezing, because that's, how long it takes the ice to become thick and strong.
All right. So is there anything that I haven't asked that would be of importance for the residents to know about these ponds?
I would say keep off the ice, really. If you are a new resident, especially important for you to tell your kids never go out on the ice unless you have a trained expert. Just assume that it's dangerous and then you will not have to worry about taking any risks.
Well, Bettina, thank you for taking the time on this very, very cold morning to come and talk about safety on the ponds. And I guess we should do this more often because awareness is everything.
It really is. And if you have 2 or 3 50-degree days, once solid ice is no longer that solid anymore. So there's just a lot of factors, and just assume it's not safe and keep off the ice.
Keep off the ice. I think that's a wise phrase for us to take with us. And with that, I just want to remind our fellow residents of Acton to please be safe out in the winter when you're walking your pets or just taking a walk near a pond. We want to make sure that you're safe and tell your household members, if they haven't watched this, to be aware of frozen ponds and stay away from them.
And keep your dogs on a leash.
Keep your dogs on the leash.
So they don't run out on the pond.
All right. And with that, thank you for watching Acton in Focus. Enjoy the winter. Till next time.
Thanks, Vivian.
Thank you, Bettina.